Welcome to Data and Marketing Nation, the podcast that keeps busy professionals like you up to date on all things connecting data and marketing. My name is Dimitri Visnadi, and I'll be talking with experts to help uncover innovations, ideas, and insights. So let's go. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode. Today I'm joined by Fabien Sandoval, an expert in search engine optimization. Welcome, Fabien.
Hey Dimitri, how are you?
I'm fine, all good here. Fabien, very happy to talk to you today because I know that you're an expert in SEO. In my data world, I love to work a lot with marketeers, but I get more to work with people that focus more on the paid side of marketing. Now I would love to learn more about SEO. But before we get into the world of SEO, can you give me a quick background about yours?
Yeah, thank you for having me in your podcast, Dimitri. Yeah, we know each other for a long time now. I remember when I started wanting to be an entrepreneur, like you gave me great advices at the beginning. So basically, I started doing SEO right after my master. I had a great professor in search engine optimization and marketing in NYU in New York. So it was like 8 years ago. And then I just started working for different companies. I started working for a startup. So it was quite basic, doing on-page optimization, content creation, like keyword research, these type of things. But it gave me a great overview on how to work on a WordPress website and how to do basic link building, these type of things. And I was also working for an agency at the same time in parallel, doing some localization projects, more like keyword research in German, in French, how to adapt English copy into other languages. And I basically loved it because it was also well paid. It was very exciting. Work for big clients such as like Western Union, for example. So big names. So I started liking how to become also a freelance doing SEO. And yeah, so after this, I moved back to Europe, started working for a startup in Italy, in Milan. And I did SEO, also I worked on other channels like email marketing. I was basically working on as a growth hacking specialist, inbound marketing and growth hacking specialist. So it was quite broad, quite generalist, and I was working on each channel. And after 2 years, I decided to specialize more and do only SEO. So then I came back to Paris, where I'm from, and I worked for an agency there. And for 2.5 years, I became very like a specialist in SEO, search engine optimization, really only this. This is where I became more of an expert. And right after this, I decided to launch my own company, and now it's been 2 years. So it's amazing. Actually, I really like it. I have many clients, different sizes, and I work in all aspects of SEO.
And breaking it a little bit down for maybe those who are not that familiar with SEO, what is SEO and what basically task activities can I imagine belong to that category of?
Yeah, SEO is all the things that you see in Google, especially in Google. I work mostly on Google, is the free part of the Google search engine results. So my job is basically to help clients rank number one on their top keywords, depending on their size, depending on their objectives. I basically help them to get more traffic, more conversions, and more clicks in Google for their specific website. So it's very easy. Sometimes I just say, for someone that doesn't know SEO, I say, what's your favorite keyword? Where do you want to rank for? For example, if you type shoe in Google, say you want to rank for shoe, you see the top first keyword, the top first results. And basically my job will be to help to get this position to be number one for the keyword shoe in Google, right? So this is SEO.
And basically, how do you do that? I mean, how do you help companies to rank higher? What are the tasks that you basically do?
Yeah, it's quite, at the beginning, I thought it was quite easy. So when you start doing SEO, especially in the US, they have some methodology that is really based on content and how to optimize the on-page tags. And you can do a lot of SEO only with optimizing your page content. And this is already pretty good. But I think you can summarize it in 3 main pillars to have more of a clear view and a simplified view of SEO. So you have the content part, the technical part, and the link building. Some SEOs are more specialized in one aspect, and I tackle the 3 of them.
And which one would you say is the most important one, or which one has the most leverage basically on the end result?
It really depends on the website. Sometimes you only work on link building and you already achieve a lot of results because there's an edge in comparison to competitors, for example. Like some competitors don't have any backlinks and you have one. And then so this helps you to be number one for the specific keyword. Or sometimes it's working on the content. But in general, it's a combination of the three aspects.
And when you say it's about link building is basically websites that have a link towards my website, right?
Yes, exactly.
And how do you get other websites to link back to your website?
So yeah, there is different tactics and strategies. One of the tactics is to get some sort of agreement with another website. For example, you can send an email and pitch your content and say how good your content is, how it fits to the website's content as well, and how it would be good for them to link back to your website. Like you can basically try to sell your content to other websites and try to find some partnership with them. It works really well. It's more of a PR approach. You can also try to find some sort of paid agreement with some bloggers. For example, you can have like some sponsored articles on their website. And there are many different ways of link building. You have many tactics. You can add links on social media. You can add links on, for example, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on this type of things. You can also research links on forums, on directories, you can also create your own some other websites and try to basically create links to your website. I mean, you can do, but in general, Google says that you're not allowed to buy links. That's what Google says. You're not allowed to buy links.
But how do they know?
But in practice, in the US, I've seen that people don't buy links when you talk to SEO consultants. But in Europe, everybody buy links.
How come? What's the difference in the US and versus Europe?
In the US, they have more of a content approach, meaning like they will create the best content possible and then reach out to journalists, pitch their content, or simply just rank for a specific keyword, for example, data-related keyword. Because their content is so good, journalists will use it as a source, as a resource for their article, for their piece of content. So automatically you get backlinks this way. And also, like, because Google doesn't want paid approach, they say it's black hat SEO, so it's kind of forbidden. Google has a way to know if you do a lot of backlinks like this, if it looks too automated. For example, if you use anchor text, it is the keyword that you use where you insert the link. If you use always the same anchor text with the specific keyword that you're targeting, Google can see it as a spam, as a low quality link, and basically penalize your website. Like if you do it not in a very aggressive way, if you use sometimes optimized anchor text, sometimes just a brand anchor text or just your URL as a link, Google might not detect it and you just will continue getting benefits from link building. So basically there are some tactics to use to do link building in a safe way with buying links that people use in Europe.
Okay. So it's interesting that they have different mentalities. When you do your link building and let's say all the SEO optimization for a client, what's the best way for you to measure your success? How do you know that you're doing a good job?
You can basically rely on in SEO on traffic. If you see like your organic traffic, SEO traffic is going up, it's a good sign. Your SEO conversions, of course, and then your rankings. Usually, like when I have a keyword that is in second page, so they say if you want to hide a dead body, put it in second page of Google. Nobody goes there, so your objective is to be on first page always, right? So what I do, like one tactic, is to target the keywords that are in second page with a backlink, and then they will be pushed to Google first page. So this is a way, just a KPI you can use, like just look at your rankings and see the evolution on a monthly basis for your top keywords.
So how long, once you have, I'm not a professional, I can touch my website, I can build some content, I try to ask some people to link back to my website. I'll probably don't see a lot of traffic after a week or two coming to my website. But you do a whole different game. So how fast can your clients usually expect to see the first impact of your work?
Usually, I mean, it really depends on the website, on the case. I usually recommend minimum 3 months to work on the SEO, on the content, link building, technical SEO. Sometimes it's just because the homepage is in no index, for example, has a no index. And so it's just removing the no index, and then automatically will be indexed, and then it will get traffic. And in 1 week, you already see results. So it really depends on the problem of the website. But most of the time it takes minimum 3 months, at least I would say 3 months. But then obviously I recommend 6 to 12 months to see results, because you need Google to crawl your website, understand the changes that you add on your content. Imagine you add, sometimes the optimization that you do is just adding 10 secondary keywords on a page. So it's like small synonyms that you add in some key areas in your page, in your subtitles, in your images. So Google has to understand these changes. Like sometimes you just add like internal links. So it's very subtle, and Google takes time to understand and to, I think, to compare also. That's what I feel from other websites that also do the changes, and to adapt the algorithm. You need to test your changes, see what works. Sometimes it doesn't work so fast. So then you adapt, you target other pages, for example, and see so for some pages, you might see changes faster. I rely on the keyword difficulty metric a lot from SEMrush. This keyword difficulty KPI helps you to know, like, okay, this keyword, for example, is not very difficult to work on. It's not very competitive. Like, not a lot of people are trying to rank for it. So when you work on it, you might see results faster. So it's good because you can already show results to your client and say, hey, see, like on your top 10 keywords that you were targeting, you're already first page for this, and this. And then it keeps the ball rolling, and you can work on more and more, and you can expand even your contract and work on more projects.
Cool. And how much of your work basically is, it sounds like it's very much a craft work, like you have to check the different keywords, you have to check the backlinks. It's a lot of manual labor, it sounds like. Are there parts in SEO that you can automate already? I mean, I know that there are some, for example, plugins for WordPress websites that help you to kind of optimize your SEO, but how much do they actually help?
I use these plugins, on WordPress and other CMS. They help a lot to just get a sense of what you're doing, like in terms of titles, in terms of meta description, and if you're missing something, like if your URL is too long or this stuff. But yeah, in SEO, you have many tools that help you to automate and get analysis on what you do. For example, one of the most important one is Screaming Frog. All the SEO analysts that you will talk to, they will tell you they use Screaming Frog. Is like it helps you to crawl your website and gives you all the information that you need to understand if you have a page with an error message, or if you have a page that doesn't have the canonical tag, or something that doesn't have an alt. So all the little elements, you can basically detect all the problems from your website. You basically have an audit almost automated by Screaming Frog. You just need to pick the information that you need. And you have other tools like this in Google that just, for example, SEMrush also, they have a automated audit of your website that you can just download. Many things are automated, but then the consultant helps you to prioritize the top actions, because as a client, you might be flooded with information. You don't know what to do. If you need, for example, to update to your sitemap, or if it's better to work on your robot.txt file, or if it's better to work on your homepage template. Sometimes you don't know what to do. So experts will tell you where to work first to get the maximum results according to your objectives, and then move on to the next project.
And have you heard about tools like, I think it's called Jasper AI or something like this, and they have some AI generated text, and it should, for example, it can be used to create content for your website, but instead of having some human writing it for hours or whatever, you just let with some, key phrases, it generates you already a lot of content. Have you heard about that?
Yes, I've been using it for one client actually, and it works super well with the Surfer SEO as well. And this tool basically helps you to find the right secondary terms, the right internal links and external links that you need to add on your page to have a very a fully optimized page in terms of content. It helps you also to create content very easily with AI technology. So I think this is super interesting. It's actually, I'm just starting to use this tool. It's 6 months, around 6 months to a year. So I'm testing it. It works really well with crypto. And I think it's kind of the future, because if we are able to automate some of the content creation parts with a tool, it will be easier to expand our efforts in SEO, to do SEO faster and not rely always on a big content team, but just maybe use a tool to create some content and just verify it, proofread the content, create new pages like this.
Do you think that those tools, when you generate the text, do you think it's relevant also for the user at the end? Because I feel like it might be a good tool to be found on the websites, really just a tool for SEO. But once the user gets to the website, the content might be too generic for them, might still need to be adapted by a human maybe to also add value.
Yes, definitely. What we've been doing so far is the process is creating a very detailed brief with what you need in terms of SEO, like top keywords, information on how to structure the content, and then use the tool to create the content. The tool will tell you, you should add, for example, this secondary keyword in the first paragraph, or you should add this primary keyword in the first H2, this type of little things. So you will create your content in the tool as a content writer. And so at the end, you will have basically a very well optimized article. You don't let the tool create the article for yourself at this point. I don't use this functionality because, as you said, like sometimes you have very bad sentences, or it's not even relevant to your topic. So you always need someone to double check. I mean, of course, it depends. If you want to create a very light content for maybe an e-commerce website, I mean, of course, it depends on your website. But if you want to expert level content on some specific, very niche topic, you might get into trouble if you only trust the tool. You always need to proofread and check back what they write. Sometimes it doesn't make any sense, so it needs to be checked. It's not there yet.
Okay, and talking a little bit more about the trends of search engine optimization, which are the major trends you think that will impact SEO, and maybe starting this year and the next year? Is there anything that you already see some trends? Or
I feel that Google is always testing, and for example, there was an update recently, end of May, a big Google core update, and I've seen some of my clients with low quality content, like content that was only written for SEO with lots of keywords, struggling a lot, and they had to rewrite all their pages. I feel that quality content, informative, like, you enter into the website and you actually have the answer for what you're looking for. This will be more and more important. Like, you need to have really good quality content. So, and also try to diversify the content that you have, videos, photos, and have it also type of engaging content, not only like a big block of text, but also try to have like bullet points, like a small summary at the beginning. Yeah, be pleasant. Like, try to create some nice links between your articles so people can have a nice navigation to your website. Invite them into your website. So I think, the content part, the quality is something that Google is always working on, and it will be still working on in the next years for sure. Like, try to improve the quality of the web. Then you have many other things. Like, one of the thing is the performance. Like, your website needs to be fast, to load fast, and also have a good user experience. So Google has also included the speed into their algorithm. So if your website doesn't load fast now, it might get impacts, and you might basically lose rankings in Google. Site speed is also important.
do you have any experience with SEO on social media?
A little bit. I mean, when I started doing SEO in the US, I was using more like social media, optimizing posts according to your website content. I think it's relevant, but it has lower impact. I mean, for what I'm doing right now.
I mean, let me stop you for a second. The background I had was basically over the last few months, I'm playing a little bit more on being more active on LinkedIn, for example. I tried so many different posts. I'm not a very good poster, so that's why I get a very little engagement and views. However, LinkedIn also gives you some insight about the audience that looks at your post. And sometimes I write a post that is more targeted towards marketeers, and I'm talking about some marketing concept or something that has come up. And I don't even use hashtags or something like this. But still, I see that at the end, more viewers come from a marketing audience. However, when I start speaking more about data-related things, not using any data hashtags or something like this, more data people get to see it. So it's very interesting how, for example, LinkedIn analyzes content, classifies it, and probably shows it towards a specific audience or another.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not an expert in LinkedIn, to be honest. And so this is something I would need to look into, but it's something to test. I guess you can also, in LinkedIn, you can look for specific keywords. If your content is well optimized for the specific keywords, in the search engine bar, people might just find it. Also, might be related to the number of the relations of like your network that you have in LinkedIn. You might show up more if you have a bigger network. And then also I know that with Href, if I'm not mistaken, you can do keyword research for other social media like YouTube, and maybe you might be able to do some keyword research for LinkedIn. I don't know if it's with Href or another tool. So you can also check the keyword volume on the specific social media and then do your strategy based on this search volume. Like if you see, for example, that, you have data analytics has, 10,000 searches per month, but then you have, data management has 20,000, then data management might be more interesting and just work on this keyword instead of the other one.
It's interesting how you can take, let's say, data or information from different inputs, and that could be search traffic on social media, to then again define your SEO strategy for your website, and then to basically adapt the content on there, because you basically infer that if people search on social media specific keywords, why wouldn't they search for it outside of social media, so in search engines, for example?
Yeah, it's super interesting. Also, you have many questions that are typed in LinkedIn and in Quora as well that you can use in your website, because you see that they bring a lot of traction. People actually are very interested in these questions, and so it makes sense to use them back in your website. If you have a post that is super successful in LinkedIn, or like some specific questions, some specific ways of an issue, then you can sort of try to reuse them on your website if you see something that might be interesting for you.
And do you think, does that work as well for, let's say, companies in Europe, where people don't always have, let's say, an audience that speaks English, or that's basically focused to speak English, so French, Italian, Germans, and so on? Because I don't know, I remember always this answering core question and kind of redirecting them to your website. But often audiences on Quora or on those or Reddit, often they are, I don't know, maybe mainly Americans and then less Europeans, maybe. I mean, I'm just guessing.
Yeah, it really all depends. Like if you want to target French people, for example, it's better to write in French. It's the same for Italian. I mean, if your blog is only in English, you will only find the people that speak English in Europe. You can still find good search volumes for English keywords in Europe, but then you will just basically probably attract only the English speaking people, Americans, English and internationals, living in Europe, interested in your content. But you won't attract all the other, like the big parts, the big chunk.
Let me ask you one question that I think might be also interesting for others working on SEO, because you have the exposure, you consult different companies of different sizes. Which one do you think is the main issue that most of them work on?
Main issue, I mean, in my case, sometimes the bounce rate is quite high. There are many different type of issues, to be honest with you. Sometimes the bounce rate is too high. So people come from SEO, especially on editorial blog content. They look at a page, like what they see, and then they leave. They only see one page. You have 80 or to 90% bounce rate on top pages. So they still get their traffic. They still get like very high positions, but their engagement is super low. So this is one of the big problems I'm facing right now, because their website is not, let's say, sexy enough. So it's not like the internal linking is not so cool. Like, people get their answer, but then they leave. They have no reason to stay on the website or buy a product or do something else. So it really gets on, the template of your page, work on the templates, try to test new things, like add new features.
Okay, cool. Fabien, first of all, I want to thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed that chat, especially, again, I don't work that much with on SEO with data, so learning more about it definitely also helps. One final question. If someone needs help or support on SEO, how can they find you?
Yeah, like just if they need any SEO advice, any SEO audits, they can just contact me on email. I'll add it here if you want. It's fabien.nieto@gmail.com, LinkedIn as well. And that's it. I will do like a small analysis for free.
Oh, so we'll add this to the show notes then. Perfect, Fabien. Thank you again. Wish you a wonderful day.
Thank you, Dimitri. It's great initiative. I hope it's very successful podcast.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Data and Marketing Nation. If you want to put your marketing data to action, head over to vanalize.com. I wish you a wonderful day and see you on the next episode.